Hello and welcome to the English to Takeaway podcast. This is episode number 26. My name is Jordan. You may know me from social media under English Lingo or English Lingo with Jordan. I am a teacher and also a content creator. And as always, I have my fantastic co host, Richard, with me.
Oh, thanks, Jordan. My name is Richard. I'm also a content creator, an English teacher, and I'm known on social media as the Grammar Goat. What a great introduction, Jordan, and fantastic to be recording again because we had a few technical problems, didn't we, last week with our podcast like recording session. So it's great to be able
Yes.
to record this episode again.
And fingers crossed, everything goes swimmingly.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. How have you been, Jordan? How have you been? How's your week been?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Actually, I think like last time we were talking about like the weather and how we had pretty much like a tropical storm and things like that.
Oh
Things have
yeah.
clear things have cleared up now. So we had that tropical storm where we had about 4 days of just rain and it was battering down and lots of wind. But recently, it's cleared up. We've had a little bit of rain, but it's been quite nice. So we took a trip up to our big farm where we will have sugarcane, and that was the main purpose, was to go and look at that. But my daughter and my wife have suddenly decided that they want to go rock hunting. So they've taken up a new hobby and become interested in searching for these rocks that they can find by digging in the mud or looking to the riverbed and things that have been washed up and whatnot. So yeah, they're into that at the moment.
Oh, it sounds quite interesting. My kids used to be into fossils and rocks and things actually a few years ago. They're not now, but
No,
but they used to be. It's a cool hobby to have, I think.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Here's quite interesting because we can find fossilized coral. So you can really see like an interesting detail that has formed through, you know, basically it being washed up into the rivers and kind of battered around by the waves, etc. And it comes out with beautiful like lines and patterns and everything. And yeah, it makes quite a nice piece. Actually, it looks really interesting.
Oh, nice. Which kind of that's quite a nice sort of segue into Jurassic Park because actually I went to see the new Jurassic Park film with my kids because we were talking about it, weren't we, a few weeks ago?
Yes,
Yeah, so went to see that. I didn't fall asleep, which is always a good sign.
I was gonna ask.
Um, there were no popcorn and Malteser sandwiches as well this time. So all of the cinema snacks were all normal, and
Normal.
yeah, I had quite a nice time. Quite a good
Oh,
film.
good.
Gonna go and see Superman this afternoon, the new Superman movie. Have you seen that one yet?
No, I haven't. No. Yeah, it'd be interesting to know what you think of it. I'm not really a Superman fan, to be honest. I'm not. I'm more. I would say I was more into Batman. So I preferred the Batman movies. Superman, I watched a little bit, and yeah, but I didn't really become a Superman fan, to be honest.
You're quite dismissive of Superman there, Jordan. I'm quite surprised at that. It's almost like you got something. You're holding a bit of a grudge against Superman. What has he? What has he done? What has he done to you? So you just don't like him. You don't like the outfit. Don't like the fact he wears his pants on the outside of his trousers, or
Yeah, I don't know. I think possibly it was the phone box thing. Maybe you know, you used to get changed in a phone box. I'm thinking, why? Why would you get changed in a phone box? It's yeah, strange. Um,
so you're more of a Batman. Did you watch the movie Superman versus Batman then? Did you enjoy that one?
Yes, I did. Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, that was pretty interesting actually. But I must admit, like the one of my favorite ones was uh, the Dark Knight with of course Heath Ledger as the Joker. That was amazing. I thought that was really a fantastic Batman movie. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I maybe I like the eccentric characters. Like for example, I really liked. I think it was Danny DeVito as the Penguin.
Mm.
I also like Jim Carrey as the Riddler. That was also a really interesting one as well. I quite like the sort of the eccentric characters that Batman had within, within the storylines. So yeah, I don't know. Superman he was kind of okay, but I just I never really got into it actually. Yeah,
I think the one flaw with Superman for me is at least Batman's got a mask, hasn't he? So Bruce Wayne,
yeah,
he can sort of live this double life of Bruce Wayne and Batman, whereas Superman, Clark Kent, I mean, essentially Clark Kent's disguise is a pair of glasses, isn't it? I mean,
yeah,
it's the
yes, yeah.
same person, the same face, the same everything, just with a pair of glasses, and no one seems to notice that it's Superman. So that for me is a little bit shaky, isn't it, in terms of his sort of cover story? What do you think about that?
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't really hold up, does it? Like, oh, who's Superman? Yeah, you know who's Superman. You can see his face. It's not. It's not. Yeah, it's not anything like Spider-Man has the outfit and it covers his whole body and face. So I can understand why people don't know who Spider-Man is, and similar for Batman as well. But yeah, I think maybe for me, Superman was kind of I don't know, like the number one, the goody. Of course, he's a good guy because he helps and saves people. But he was the good superhero. Like there was no flaws with him. Perfect hair, and he was perfect in every way, basically. And yeah, I think I like the superheroes to have a little bit more of a strange background and something that is um, a little bit flawed with them, maybe.
I
Yeah,
guess yes, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just my weird perception of superheroes.
This is interesting. Your sort of disdain and hatred towards Superman. I'm gonna report back next week, Jordan. I'll watch the movie. I'll report back. I'll try and turn you into more of a Superman fan after I've watched it, because I'm
Yeah,
pretty
yeah, yeah,
sure,
yeah.
because I'm a big Superman fan. He is flawless,
Absolutely.
isn't he? In a way, he is flawless, but
Seems to
um,
be. Yeah, he seems to
mm,
be in that regard. But I really like sort of the weird ones. I like Deadpool. I think Deadpool's hilarious.
I like Deadpool. Yeah,
Um, that one is fantastic. And yeah, I always liked Wolverine. I thought Wolverine was interesting. Again, so many flaws with Wolverine. Like he's a bit sort of a renegade. He does whatever he wants, and um, yeah, I like those kind of rugged, weird characters. Really.
Venom as well is a good one. Do you like Venom?
Yes, I do. Especially, I think for me, Tom Hardy's awesome. I love Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything that, or most of the movies that Tom Hardy's in, I really enjoy them. I remember watching The Craze with him. Unbelievable movie.
Mm.
Um, yeah, he's fantastic actor. Actually, I really like his stuff. Um, but yeah, it's good. Very interesting.
Jordan, second conditional here. If you were a superhero, what superpower would you have?
Ooh, good one.
Put you on the spot here, I know, but
I know. I, I always, yeah, I always go back and forth between this one, but I would have to say that I would love to have the power of healing, like healing any, like just broken bone, I can heal it straight away, or um, you know, if I get cut, I can heal it straight away. Yeah, I would love to be able to just have the power of healing. I think that would be pretty cool not to not worry about things, and I can be a bit sort of, reckless in a way of, like, for example, mountain biking, snowboarding, things like that, and not have any fear of breaking any bones because I know that I can heal myself. Yeah, that would be kind of cool. What
I
about you? Oh,
well,
sorry, go ahead.
I thought you were going to say talking to animals based on our.
Yeah, Doctor Doolittle is my new superhero.
Considering how many pets and things that you've got, in around your home and farm,
Oh
I think
yeah, yeah, of course. No,
that's
mine is healing, definitely
that's a
healing.
really cool one. That's a really good one. I would never have thought of that. That's a really really cool one. Mine's pretty obvious and pretty blatant. I think it would just be like flight, to be honest, to be able to fly, because I think
Yeah,
I would I
okay.
would just I would just love that. That would be awesome. Be
Like,
amazing. Imagine that.
but what would be the difference between like the for you, like the flying and teleportation? Because I kind of feel that the end game is the same, right? You get to a destination.
Yeah, I guess with teleportation, you'd have to be a little bit wary about where you were teleporting to. Like, how would it work?
Mm,
We're getting a bit deep here, aren't we, into this? But
we are,
yeah,
yes.
I guess it just goes back to my sort of love of Superman when I was a kid and being able to fly. I just don't know. It looks really awesome. Looks really cool to me. So I think I would just love that feeling of being able to fly.
Yeah,
Practically speaking, it probably wouldn't go too well because I wear glasses. Um, I'd
yeah,
need to get some contact lenses. But yeah, flying or strength as well, being very, very strong, I think would be
yeah,
pretty amazing.
yeah. That would
Mm.
be cool. Yeah, these are, yeah, really interested when when you're thinking about, like, yeah, things and powers and skills that you can have. Like another one, I would always, just from a point of view of um, our industry, our work, I would love to be able to understand any language,
Mm.
like to be able to communicate and understand any language. Like, doesn't matter about how old the language is or how unique the language is. Like, I could understand it, even in, for example, like tribal languages that they only speak within a small tribe. That would be amazing to be able to understand and communicate with that kind of language, of course. So that would be another one that I would like to have.
It would certainly make for good content, wouldn't it, as well, being able to do
Yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah.
There's one creator that does that. I'm sure you've seen him on the street. He approaches people and says, "I bet I speak your language." And have you seen
Yeah,
him? I think he's a Japanese guy, and
he is.
he
Yeah,
speaks so many languages. He's incredible. I really enjoy watching his videos. But
absolutely.
so you
Yeah.
would take it to the next level, I think, with your superpower. Um,
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it, to be able to speak so many languages? Do
yeah.
you ever find, like, because I know that you speak a few languages, when you go to a country that speaks like Spanish or Italian, do you find that you need a day or so to kind of brush up and get used to it again, or are you quite easy to fall back into speaking it and listening to it?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's weird with my Spanish because I think my Spanish is so ingrained in my brain.
Yeah,
it's pretty much instant. I just kind of switch, and I'm just
nice.
yeah. When I'm in this country though with my Spanish, it's often yeah, very, very rusty. But when I go to a Spanish speaking country, it just sort of switches and I'm able to communicate.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I don't really have many problems with that. But I love learning languages. I think the more languages that you learn as well, like the easier it gets, you just become a better language learner, I guess. But yeah,
yeah.
I love learning languages. Hopefully, when I've got more time, when I retire, I would definitely love to learn a few more languages because, as you say, it's very enriching, isn't it, to visit a country, visit a place, and be able to speak the language. It's so
Oh yeah.
important. And great experience to be able to do it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think even if you're going somewhere for like a little break or a week holiday, even if, yeah, it doesn't matter how long it is, even if it's a short time, I think if you learn just a few phrases or a few words, that's brilliant. Like you can really sort of have a much better experience, can't you, when you learn a little bit, and not just rely on somebody else speaking English. So yeah, I always think that languages are in a sense they are a bit of a superpower. I think.
Absolutely. That's why when I went to India, I was blown away at how many languages they speak and how many languages people in India can speak. It's just absolutely phenomenal. It's obviously English. We're fortunate that English is a world language and we happen to have English as our first language. But
Yeah.
yeah, I was just blown away in India. They've all got this superpower of being able to speak so many languages, and it was that was one of the most incredible experiences for me when I was there. So
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, amazing.
I also feel that like when you speak a lot of languages, or if you can speak a lot of languages, I also feel that you can understand like the culture a bit better as well. Like you're more aware of cultural differences and cultural things, so you get a deeper feeling for it too. So that's another reason why I think languages are really fascinating, because they not only help you communicate, but they help you understand more of the culture that you want to kind of be integrated in, or you want to learn about things like that. So I think, yeah, it's definitely helpful.
How about in the Philippines, Jordan? Because how long have you been living in the Philippines now? Is it coming up for a year, or is it over a year you've been there
just
now?
just over a year, just over a year. Yeah.
How are you doing with the local lingo? Have you picked
I
much up?
I as most of the time, like, I can understand a little bit. I know a little bit, of course. Speaking again is not easy. I know a few phrases, I know a few words, I can understand certain things, but yeah, not nowhere near like conversational or anything like that, of course. But the kind of dilemma that I have is I don't know which I should focus on and learn, because they've got the national language of Tagalog, which is spoken in schools, in business, across the whole country mostly. But because we live where we live, in near to Cebu, so this area speaks Visayan, which is another dialect. So I don't know. Do I focus on learning Tagalog, which majority of people said is probably better, but I live in Visaya region, and majority of people speak Visayan here. So I'm kind of caught between the two. Like, which do I learn? Ideally, I'd love to learn both of them, but yeah, I don't know.
That's tricky then, isn't it? It's tricky to decide because I think learning two at once would probably be a
Oh
lot of
no, no,
work, wouldn't it? A lot of
I can't
work.
do
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I have to choose one and focus on it. Definitely.
No, sure.
Um, but yeah, I don't know which one really would be most beneficial. To be fair,
Hmm.
but because either way, it would be beneficial. In terms of if we went to Manila, I can speak Tagalog. It's no problem. But they do say that a lot of people can speak Tagalog wherever you go in the Philippines because it's taught in school. So maybe that's the best one to focus on because it's more widespread throughout the country. But yeah, I would love to learn it actually, and it's quite similar to Spanish because they do in some areas or in some aspects of it they do have a lot of Spanish words, and I think they count in Spanish as well.
Hmm.
So uh, they can, yeah, I think Spanish speakers can pick up um, Tagalog and Filipino quite quickly.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah, that's very cool. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you speak
And
any
you,
Spanish, Jordan? Did you learn Spanish at school or?
no, I wanted to. I'm going to sound really, and I do apologize to any German people because I think in England we had well, my time we had two choices, or we had two languages, French and German. But I didn't have a choice. I studied French in primary school, so elementary school, and I really enjoyed it and I was quite good at it. But when I moved up to secondary school, I was placed into the German half, and I had no choice. I had to learn German. I didn't really enjoy it. It was just, I think it was because of the disappointment of learning French and then going into something that I hadn't ever learned before. So I never really got into it, and yeah, I didn't enjoy learning German, and yeah, so Spanish I would have liked to because you've got so many countries that speak Spanish. Yeah, but no, for me, German wasn't that enjoyable, and it was just something I had to learn. Yeah, I would have preferred to have continued learning French or learned Spanish. I think. Yeah. How about you? What did you learn when you were at school?
I did French and I did Spanish.
Nice.
So yeah, I didn't have the chance to do German actually. I
Right.
would have loved to just to make sure that our German listeners are still online. I I would have loved to have done German, but I didn't have the opportunity. Beautiful language though, German, isn't it? That they've got such long words though. It sounds very interesting language to learn.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
I did Spanish, and then at uni I chose Italian as well. So I did Spanish and Italian, which was
Oh,
quite
nice.
confusing at times. Yeah, because although the
Yeah.
grammar's different, some words are similar. But yeah,
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
Spanish. Spanish is kind of my favorite language, I think, to speak.
Okay. Cool. No,
Yeah.
I think for me German was really was quite interesting, but it was incredibly difficult because you had the confusion of like dirty and das and masculine and feminine. So it changed. And I think because of our grammatical structures that we have in English, and perhaps it was down to the teaching, maybe, it's very difficult to understand how to use those grammatical structures in German because they're very complicated, and you've got to be using the correct form to, you know, actually formulate the sentence correctly. So for me, that was always a struggle. I didn't really understand those parts of German. But yeah, you're right. There are some words in German that are really quite fantastic to use, and I can't remember now. It's uh, the word for ambulance always gets me. It's a really long word. Krankenwagen or something. I can't remember the name of it now, but yeah, it's brilliant because we say ambulance, but the German word is incredibly long.
Yeah, I mean it's like Welsh. I went to university in Wales, and Welsh is another
Oh,
beautiful language, but obviously very, for me it was very, very difficult.
yeah,
To I could never. I only learned, a few words. But it's a beautiful language to listen to, Welsh, and they have very, very long words. I mean, I think they've got the longest place name, haven't they, in the world? I think in Wales, is it like
yeah,
Llanfair Porwick Rhywbryd Cancelia Gogogoch, something like that. Don't ask me how I remember that, and I'm sure I made lots of mistakes, but it's like a really, really long place name in Wales that always
absolutely.
fascinated me.
Yeah.
Um,
No,
yeah,
I think personally, I think that we in England we should learn languages much earlier. I think we're very much behind in language learning in terms of how quickly we learn them. Because I don't know if it's changed now, but like when I was in primary school, nobody really learnt a language until year six. We when we started to learn a bit of French. So yeah, I think we should start a much earlier. I think then we would have that affinity with language learning and probably have more people who could speak different languages.
yeah, absolutely. I totally agree, and I just think because English is a world language, we are quite lazy actually as
Yeah,
a nation in terms of learning languages, because we many people just feel that they don't need to learn any more languages because they've got the attitude, that everyone speaks English. I think that's definitely not my attitude, and like as you said, language and culture are so interwoven, aren't they, that to really understand a country and a culture you also need to understand its language or languages. And for me, like as I know for you, travel is so important in our lives. I love it so
absolutely.
much. So with travel comes trying to learn the language as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes it much more enjoyable
Mm.
when you can travel. You can speak a little bit of the language. It makes it so much better actually. So no, I definitely like the idea of having more languages earlier on in education. I think it's much better.
I had a really interesting experience actually, Jordan. A few weeks ago, one evening, I went up to Wimbledon
Oh
because I was living up there with my son quite recently when he was doing his exams,
yes.
and yeah, I was really lucky. I went to an English school, a language school in Wimbledon one evening to do some filming with some students, and
Oh great.
yeah, what an interesting place. I mean, you had literally students from all over the world, so many different countries that I met.
Nice.
So Saudi Arabia, Thailand, Argentina, Japan, Turkey, France,
Wow.
Spain, Italy. Yeah, it was really, really interesting. And just to see all of these young people all together, they were having like an international student night, so a party, all together interacting, all getting along, all friends. It was very uplifting actually to see that. So I had a really, really good time.
Oh
Yeah.
nice. That's cool. Do, um, do you think that they are there just for summertime, because I know that in England we get a lot of people to usually come over for the duration of summer, or are they studying there for like long term?
No, they were all summer school students because, as you
Right.
said, thousands of students come over, don't they, to
Yeah.
London and all over the UK for summer school. So these were just summer school students. So yeah, it was great to meet them.
Nice.
Just a shame about the weather because,
Oh,
like, the weather at the beginning of the summer, it was in England, it was really, really hot, really, really nice. This second half has just been awful. It's been a washout. So just felt a bit sorry for them. Really, they've come to England and they've got terrible, terrible weather. But it was
and
great to
they've
meet them.
they've got typical British weather.
True, true, yeah, true. But it's you don't want to wake up to rain every day, do you? Because it limits like what you can do and stuff. So
Ah,
bit of a
yeah, I know.
shame, you know.
I totally agree. Yeah, we always joke that rain is a typical British summer weather, but nobody wants it. Nobody wants to see it. So
No,
yeah, it's certainly not fun when you're on holiday or on a language course that you want to enjoy looking around and interacting with people, and yeah, and it's just not enjoyable weather at all, is it, when it's like that?
exactly. Jordan, have you got a news story for this week? Have you found anything in the news that caught your eye?
Yeah, I do. Interesting one. As you know, I usually get a lot of news stories about Japan. Uh, I found a news story this week that the first half of 2025 has seen a record number of 21.5 million visitors going to Japan. So in the first 6 months of the year, 21.5 million tourists have apparently visited Japan, which is incredible. Yeah, like for me, that's an incredible number to hear, because when I lived there, we we didn't have that many tourists coming over to visit Japan, and to hear that number now is quite insane. To be fair, so they must be doing something right to get loads of visitors.
Yeah, Japan seems to be on trend now, doesn't it? But I think it has been for quite a while actually. But I mean, just going by my teenage kids, I mean, they are obsessed with Japan and they love all of watching all of the anime. So yeah,
Nice.
they all they want to do is go and visit Japan. So that kind of their attitude towards Japan kind of matches that, doesn't it? That huge influx of tourism. That's crazy, isn't it?
Absolutely, but
Yeah.
it's very interesting, because I went I should say I witnessed, I saw the change in a way where Japan wasn't so touristy. It wasn't really set up for tourism. It wasn't really, I would say, promoting itself so much for tourism, to now being focused on tourism. They're really trying to appeal to a lot of people so that they get a lot of tourists. And yeah, it's a massive change to the industry. It's one of the fastest growing industries in Japan now, and I think the reason is because they're seeing it as the amount of money that tourists spend, um, outweighs a lot of the industries that they focused on before. They calculated that each tourist, on average, spends around $1,600, I think, per trip. So they they see that as a very lucrative market to focus on for the future. And yeah, I think we can definitely see Japan becoming more tourist friendly in the future. So yeah, it's definitely interesting. Like, when you went to Japan, I would imagine that you saw a lot of signs in English, and they had a lot of the English names and everything. Could you imagine not having any English signs when you went there?
I couldn't. I mean, you're right. It was set up, and also with nowadays with mobile phones, and you have Google Maps or Apple Maps, it just makes it easy, doesn't it, to navigate everything. Or we still got lost a lot in the train stations and things because they're so huge, but it makes it possible, doesn't it, to be able to go and get your train and get to where
Yeah,
you want. Whereas without that, if I can imagine not having the assistance of a mobile phone, it would just be impossible. I just don't know
yeah,
how. I mean, people that
absolutely.
were there in the 90s, I get. Were you there in the 90s, Jordan? When did you arrive in Japan?
2009, I arrived. Yes.
Okay, yeah, you're
Yeah.
not you're not that old, are you, to be there in the 90s? Sorry,
No problem.
my
But
maths is terrible.
but
But
I
like if
I do remember seeing some areas, some places that didn't have English signs. I I did experience that, not so much in the central areas, a little bit on the outskirts and more sort of the countryside places. But yeah, I definitely saw no English signs in some areas.
it'd be tough, very tough to be able to get around, I think, without that. I mean, yeah, but when we were in Japan a couple of years ago, it was very tourist friendly. I mean, it
Yeah,
was. I mean, I know we were in Tokyo, but it was fantastic. It was great. Would love to go back, as we've said many times. But yeah,
yeah,
it's interesting that so many tourists are visiting now. I didn't know that actually. I didn't know that.
incredible number. They've definitely created a much more friendlier atmosphere for tourists, and it's great to see, because I think Japan has a wealth of culture to offer people, and it's great to see people enjoying it, and not only like just like Tokyo, but also things like cherry blossom. A lot of people go to Japan to see the cherry blossoms and enjoy that kind of scenery and that, and it's a special kind of thing, actually. So I think, yeah, it's nice to see tourists being able to enjoy that that kind of, I would say, experience that
Mm,
Japan has to offer. So yeah, it's interesting. But a lot of tourists, though, in space of 6 months.
absolutely. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
How about your story? What do you have for us this week?
Yeah, I kind of struggled a bit this week, Jordan, to find a news story. So I was kind of thinking back to a text conversation I was having with one of my friends this week, and
Okay.
we were just talking about different ideas actually for my content. And she said, "Oh, well, why don't I do like an adrenaline sort of adrenaline fueled activity?" And I was surprised to find out that she has done like a bungee jump, a skydive, even a wing walk.
Wow.
So I know. So I was just gonna ask you if you had done any of these adrenaline fueled activities. So how about a bungee jump, Jordan? Have you ever tried bungee jumping?
Definitely not. No.
And would you try it?
um No, probably not. Not now. Not now. No. Zip line. Like I don't know whether you could say zip lining is adrenaline, but yeah, I wouldn't mind doing like a zip lining. I think that'll be interesting. Um, I don't know. Yeah,
How
but
yeah.
bungee jumping. It's never bungee jumping's never really appealed to me. I think skydiving would be more interesting for me. Yeah. Um, that would if I had a choice of bungee jumping or skydiving, I'd probably choose skydiving.
I'm the same. Yeah, I'm the same. I would love to try skydiving. Obviously, a tandem. I'd like to have an instructor strapped tightly to me to, I think, for the first one. But I'd love to try skydiving. Bungee jumping, I'm with you. I'm not too sure about that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'd be able to to jump. How about wing walking? So wing walking, obviously standing on the wing of an aeroplane as it takes off
Yeah.
and flies around. Would you try that?
It strangely enough, it sounds interesting. Yeah, it really does. Yeah, I would like to see what and experience what it feels like, but I would imagine the G force, like your face would be at the back of your head. You'd be like this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How about caving? So going down into very narrow, twisty turny caves. Would you ever try that, or have you tried that?
No, I haven't, but yeah, that does sound quite interesting. I think again, anything being out sort of in nature and that is very yeah, very interesting for me. And yeah, caving would be really cool. And but again, it's quite dangerous, isn't it? You've got to be
Mm.
yeah, you got to be aware of your surroundings, of course. Have you ever thought about caving?
I don't think I'd be able to do it actually caving. I don't think I would like caving.
Really?
Well, yeah, when I see it in a movie, someone going down under the ground in tight spaces, yeah, I don't think caving's for me.
Do, do you get claustrophobic?
A little bit. I think I
Okay.
might be mildly claustrophobic. Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think I would like that at all.
So
But yeah.
if you're in a lift and the lift suddenly stopped, would you panic?
No, I'd be fine in
Okay.
a lift. I'd be fine. I'm not that extreme.
Okay. Okay. No, just wondering.
No, but I think the thought of like being underground in a very tight space in a cave, I don't think I would like.
Yeah.
Adrenaline junkies. I thought you were like one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this was I thought you were a bit of an adrenaline junkie because you've told me a lot about your time snowboarding, mountain biking. But it wasn't just snowboarding and mountain biking. I mean, you were doing quite extreme stuff, weren't you? Doing jumps and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
things like
Yeah.
this. So are you? You obviously were an adrenaline junkie. Are you still an adrenaline junkie, or not too much nowadays?
Absolutely not anymore.
Okay,
um, yeah, the injuries and everything that came along with it, I think, eventually took its toll, and I realized that if I continue doing things that are a bit stupid, then I could end up with serious problems. So yeah, I decided not to not to continue with those activities. Although they were fun, I really enjoyed them. Um I wouldn't knock them, and I'm glad for the experience, but now I'm a bit older. Yeah, I prefer I prefer to play golf.
fair enough. Fair enough. Although
So
you would do a skydive though. You said you would skydive. So that's something because I
yeah,
would skydive as well. So something
yeah.
that we could think about doing.
Well, that would be, I suppose. that's the closest that we would ever be able to come to flying, really, wouldn't it? Like,
Yeah.
um, I suppose if you ever get the chance to go in one of those wingsuits that you can see that look pretty cool, to be honest. But yeah, skydiving's probably the closest that humans can come to flying. So yeah, I would imagine it's quite it's scary at first, I would imagine, but as soon as it kind of settles down, maybe it would be okay. Yeah, I wouldn't like to know the feeling of it. I think I wouldn't like to guess the feeling. I think it would be interesting. So yeah, for me, yeah, skydiving is quite an interesting one.
I was laughing because knowing my luck, I'd get given the wingsuit instead of the normal parachute, something like that. I'd be up in the plane and I'd kind of look down under my arms and what are those under, and then I'd get like shoved out. That is crazy, isn't it? The those wingsuits. Oh my goodness, the
have you
things
have
that
you seen
those
them
guys do.
flying like just through the treetops? It's
Mm,
incredible how they
yeah,
yeah they're nuts. They are really completely crazy people. Really
yeah.
are.
All
But
right. Well,
very
that
interesting.
that was yeah, that was my little segment anyway on
Okay,
adrenaline junkies. Quite
perfect.
interesting.
Awesome. Shall we do the takeaway part for our listeners so they can take away some of the vocab and language that we've covered?
Let's do it, Jordan. Let's do it.
All
So
right.
10 vocabulary items that have come up during the pod. Would you like to go first, Jordan? Because I always go first.
No,
You go.
let's not break tradition. Please go ahead.
All right. Swimmingly. This was an interesting
Okay.
adverb. So you said I think it was right at the beginning of the pod. I can't remember what you were talking about now. I apologize, but you said everything is going swimmingly. Do you
Ah,
remember saying that?
we said about the technical problems we had last week. So I said, fingers crossed, everything goes swimmingly this week.
There you go. So there's two bits in there. Fingers crossed, which is a really nice expression.
Yeah.
Like, let's hope that nothing goes wrong and that everything goes swimmingly. So if something goes swimmingly, it means it goes well, very, very well. It goes
Very well.
perfectly. So you often come up with these little gems on the pod that I haven't heard for a long time. I haven't heard anyone say swimmingly for a long time. So it's a really cool adverb. So yeah, I
Awesome.
think it has gone swimmingly so far, hasn't it? The podcast today.
Absolutely. And funnily enough, one that I haven't heard for a while, you mentioned you being rusty when it comes to speaking some languages. And rusty just means that you're not used to, in this case, speaking that language, but with a little bit of time, you will feel more comfortable doing it. Basically, if you haven't done something for a long time and then you do it, you will feel rusty because you're not used to it. So yeah, that's another good a good one to use that I haven't heard for a while either.
Perfect. Staying on the theme of languages, here's a phrasal verb that was used to pick up a language.
Mm,
I'm sure that students and listeners know the phrasal verb to pick up as a physical get something off the floor to pick up. But if you pick up a language, it often implies that you haven't formally learnt it, doesn't it? It just
mm,
if you pick something up, it means that it's just almost happened naturally, like you've acquired it.
yes.
Um, so you could say, "Have you learnt Spanish?" or "Have you picked any Spanish up while
Yeah.
you were living in Spain?" for example.
Nice. Very, very good indeed. Absolutely. And the one that you mentioned when you were talking about your experience in India, you said that you were blown away by how many languages people speak in India. So blown away just means to be surprised, but in usually a positive way. So we can say blown away, but you're meaning it very positively, and it's a surprise. It was something that you were not expecting, but was wow, amazing. So yeah, blown away is a great one to use as well.
Perfect. Going back to your adjective rusty that you highlighted, we also had to brush up on
Ah,
something. So we could use the example again of learning languages. If you're a bit rusty in speaking a language, you might want to try to brush up on
mhm.
that language. So it means sort of level up, doesn't it? Bring your level back up to
Yes,
where it was. So to brush up on three-part phrasal verb, I thought was a was a really really nice one.
awesome, cool, and uh, this one was really cool to use, and I'm sure a lot of listeners will pick up on this one and maybe be interested into knowing the meaning of it. And you used interwoven, basically talking about like culture and language. Everything is interwoven, and it means that they are part of the same culture. They're, you can learn about food and culture and language because they are connected in some way, shape, or form. They are part of each other. So we can say they are interwoven, meaning they are connected.
Nice. Lucrative, another
Oh,
adjective that you used. You were talking about tourism in Japan, and you collocated it with market, which is a
mm,
great collocation, I think. So Japan is a lucrative market for
mhm,
tourism. So if something's lucrative, it just means it's going to make a lot of money. You know, it's
yes.
very very profitable. So yeah, I thought that was a great collocation that you used. Very useful if, particularly if someone is studying business English, say lucrative.
Absolutely. And talking about the British weather, you used a lovely expression, is that you felt sorry for them because recently it's been a bit of a washout. Lovely expression to use, meaning that most of the time it's been raining and it hasn't been good weather. You've not really seen the sunshine. So we say it's been a washout when it's been raining a lot and you can't really do anything, that you can't really make any plans. So yeah, that's a great one to use when talking about British weather.
Cool. We were talking about adrenaline junkies, weren't we? And I
Yes.
think the word nuts came up. So um, if someone's nuts, it just means they're a little bit crazy.
Mm,
So you're nuts, or you could also use the noun, couldn't you? A nutter.
yes.
You know,
Yes.
he's a nutter. He's a crazy person. So you might want to use nuts or a nutter if you're talking about adrenaline junkies, maybe.
I think I think Sophia used that on one of my reels the other day when we were
Oh yeah,
talking about how to talk about crazy, saying someone's crazy. Yeah, she was the one that used, "Oh, he's a nutter." Uh,
nice.
yeah, perfect one to use. Yeah, and speaking of what you mentioned, like adrenaline junkie, that was my last one as well. Adrenaline junkie is someone who seeks things that will raise their adrenaline, like that are very risky, extreme, and you know, essentially you could get injured or die if things go wrong, such as skydiving, wing walking, bungee jumping, caving. There are many extreme activities that people do to raise their adrenaline, and a junkie is an informal way of saying someone is addicted to certain feelings. So in this case, someone who is addicted to extreme activities, raising their adrenaline, having that kind of euphoric feeling of being in an extreme environment. So that's why we use it as a collocation in this sense, adrenaline junkie. And yeah, we can talk about people who love extreme sports or extreme activities.
Nice, Jordan. I'll recap. So we had to go swimmingly, rusty, to pick something up, not the meaning that you might think physically pick something up, but pick something up meant to acquire or to learn something, to be blown away, to brush up on something, so to get your skills back in something, interwoven, lucrative, a lucrative market, a washout, nuts, and a nutter, and an adrenaline junkie. What a what a wide array of vocabulary there this week. How did
Uh,
we go from interwoven to a nutter? I
yeah,
wonder. It's amazing.
perfect. So now the challenge is for anyone who wants to challenge, like that's listening, is to use all of those in a story,
Wow.
and try to come up with an interesting story using all of those words.
Yeah, or just plug them into ChatGPT and see what ChatGPT creates. That's going to be a
Yeah,
wild read, isn't it?
that would be funny. Actually, yeah, make me a short story using these words.
And then you basically get our podcast come out.
Yeah, yeah. Just watch this.
Yeah.
Fantastic. If anybody has any questions or would like to share a news story or anything, grammar related, etc., with us, then please contact us via email on englishtotakeawaypod@gmail.com, and we will no doubtedly use them and cover them in the podcast, of course. So yeah, please get in touch whenever you feel like it. But fantastic, no technical issues, everything went swimmingly, thankfully.
It did, and I'm off to see your arch nemesis Superman now, so I'll
Yes,
report back
yeah.
next week.
Yeah, let me know. Let me know how Lex Luthor is during this one.
I will do. I will do.
Awesome. Enjoy the movie, mate. Take care of yourself.
You too, Jordan. Take care, mate.
Bye
Bye bye.
bye.
Bye.